Hello everyone, this is Greyshot 117 here, bringing you another Company First 2 replay, brought to you by, let's see, this is Chef Roll, or something, yeah, let's go with, we'll just go with, Sci-Fi Roll, I think? Anyway, point of the matter is he sent me this replay along, he's in the game along with his brother, apparently, Ronald, and also a random Mick Rupolo. Oh my god, sorry. Why can't people pronounce names? On the enemy team, we have Just Wolf, we have Mengele, and we have Tony Crow. Thank you for having pronounceable names. I'm sorry. So anyways, Sci-Fi over here sent me a replay, essentially asking me to go over, I guess, his tactics and what he did wrong. Usually I ask for something interesting. I don't mind occasionally helping people out. So let's see. Let's go over to your base, Chef Roy, and see what you're up to. So let's see. First off, you are Ober Commando. Now, if we look here, you haven't picked your doctrines yet. You have a basic range of the basic 3. So I take you haven't gotten any of the rare commanders yet for the OKW. Still, these guys are really good, especially the Jagdpanzer and the actually they all are really good. You give you will have no Oberkommando player complaining if they're Obosodan and FSG-44s, there's a Jag Tiger on their side, or possibly they have Fallschirmjägers coming and destroying the enemy from behind. Now, let's see. You have Stern Pioneer and a Kubel moved up. Very nice combo. I would actually... the one thing I would recommend is, while you have a decent selection of things to have out, I'm actually curious why you have movement speed for a lot of them. I've never used it myself. I usually go more power, but it's very interesting that you actually have a lot of like speed and stuff. I mean, that could definitely help with getting Kubelwagen out of serious situations. In this type of situation, you probably want to move back. You don't want to keep turning. And then you want to move up your Stern Pioneers to knock out that point. We have Rifleman Squad coming in from behind. Yeah, at this point you should just fall back. Like, get these guys closer. Stern Pioneers, stop rotating. If you rotate a vehicle, it will not heal. So that's one big instinct. And if you heal, that's going to put the Stern Pioneers in a lot of turmoil. So, wow, okay, nice actually combo right now. See, Stern Pioneers get close, knock out the Rifleman. Will it kill the Rifleman? Yes, it will. Very nice. I'm actually surprised he lived. That American player. Wow. That was actually good technique. So that right there was pretty good. Now he's fighting behind heavy cover. Oh wow, so they're trying to flank him. And he's still holding down here. And they're trying... AT grenade? Yeah, we do. And remember, Star Rifleman had the AT ability. Overall, right now, I see a lack of support the biggest issue. You're not doing anything wrong. You're actually doing your things really right. The problem is the fact that you don't have allied support, because your ally decided to go for the fuel. And let's see, he went for Grenadiers MG. That's basically the norm. And up north, we have a guy who, same basic package. Again, if you're versus an Oberkommando player, expect them to have Kubelwagen, Volks, Stern Pioneer. Maybe double Stern Pioneer and a Kubel. But, yeah, that's a typical Oberkommando initial package. And then, of course, with Americans, you expect Riflemen. That's guaranteed. I've seen some people with rare echelon spams. I don't know if they're very effective. At least your ally is coming down to support you. That's very cool. And let's see, he went the Jaeger Armor Doctrine. I like this doctrine because essentially this doctrine is great for the supportive unit. So the Elephant Tank will fire targets long range. Then, of course, you have scope. And if you're wondering, oh, how's the scope effective? Having the ability for your, let's say, a scout car or a Panzer IV, I especially like putting out Panzer IV, being able to see double or triple its sight radius can be very effective. Because sight, if you know where the enemy is going to attack you, you already have half the battle. You already know that. You're not being surprised. So then all you have to do is counter that force. If you can't, you move away. And you try to delay them. In any case, we have MG, wrong direction. Ooh, very nice grenade. Almost kills the MG. Very nice. Down south, we have a bunch of, well, I guess, remaining riflemen. And you can see this guy's losing a lot of riflemen. Tony Crow went the rifle company. I don't even think I have to explain that anymore. It's just the default American. Everyone loves Easy 8 doctrine. And then we have the default Everyone Loves Ice 2 and burning people alive with Shock Troop Doctrine. And then we have Everyone Loves T-3045s with the God Mortar Doctrine. So essentially they have the 3 most common doctrines for the Allies, if that's the best way I can say it. That's kind. Wow, okay, what? I wonder, wait, why? Huh. Maybe a little bit over the edge. I hate when people start talking like that, because all you're I just ignore it. Like, again, I think I've released a video like this. Oh, by the way, this MG might be a little bit bad, because I don't, can he fire at this arc through the brush? I'm not 100% sure. But, okay, we can at least hit this target. But anyway, the reason I don't is because if you agitate the enemy, all you're doing is opening it up for, if you start fusing, they will start blasting you. And that's funny for no one. We look here, there's moving up more forces. He needs to push up faster. There's nothing up in the northern area. And as you can see here, they're pretty much triple teaming the south. So you have yellow, you have blue, and you have, I guess, what is this, like a turquoise? It's like Tucker from Red vs. Blue. You can't exactly tell what color he is, but you know he's like some type of blue. In any case, we have a 2-star rifleman that can be very deadly. However, we have 2 Stern Pioneers moving up, and that can be even more so, because see, riflemen are good long range. Oh no, don't get any grenades. But if the Stern Pioneers can close the gap, they can do a ton of damage close range. And especially 2 squads, unless they get stuck in the water, which they kind of removed that so units don't, move slow in water anymore. Yeah. It doesn't really have an effect. And we have a flamethrower here. Stern Pioneers, actually I've seen them beat the flamethrower just because the flamethrower is one burst and the Stern Pioneers will just, keep owning them. Again, if you can kill the unit, because again, then they have to get 170 points back, and that's a lot of resources that, even though the Allies rely on manpower and they rely on infantry more so than other doctrines, like the Soviets, you lose so many troops, but it doesn't matter because you can just keep pumping them out. But let's say a rifleman, on the other hand, you rely on getting those vetted up and upgraded and just better trained. And if, well, you start losing riflemen, it's not very good. Remember, Rifle Company has this awesome flamethrower, which is why it has a flamethrower on riflemen. Yeah, the only thing I have to say, though, is I hate when, again, if you have a flame unit, just one shot and it bursts into flames. That's the thing I hate. So that's why I typically don't use flamethrowers unless it's like, okay, I'll just put on my engineer because it's done doing everything I need. But in any case, it's about the 8-minute mark, and we have a, let's see, any trucks for this person? Okay, they have a medic truck. Where is that located? Good location. In buildings, maybe it could be, infantry could be stuck on obstacles, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. We head down south, and we see a nice rifleman counter coming down. Looks like right now that what they need to do is get some heavier infantry or try to counter with MGs, bunkers, etc. We have the Luftwaffe ground forces. I question this doctrine of the other two because of the fact that there's not many buildings to deploy Fallschirmjägers with. I mean, there's like a house, I think, on this corner. It's, yeah, right here. You can deploy Fallschirmjägers, cut off their territory. But overall, there's not many, like, places you can deploy them on this map. Oh, I take it back. There's, like, this small area up here, and then all the way up north, there's a small house. But overall, not many places. Stern Pioneers coming around with a flank. Both behind heavy cover, but supported by guards. I'm going to put my... Pretty much I'm going to say the Stern Pioneers are going to win. The Riflemen are certainly not going to benefit at all from this, but, you know... Now here's the thing, Volksmen will start firing, although these are infantry. If they would have stayed in negative cover, that would have been to their detriment, and they would have lost that infantry. Stern Pioneers closing the gap, MG's going to pin them, and with all these forces, they're going to run away or face pretty much catastrophe. Now this guy is, oh my god, okay, I don't get me wrong, I like holding area, but you need to move. Like, you need to keep moving, pushing. I would recommend, like, that's a weird spot to just put heavy cover. Don't get me wrong, it's probably going to help him, but yeah. Conscripts can build a heavy cover, and I recommend to people also retreat this unit. Wow. You killed your own unit with a Panzerschreck. It took the shot, and the conscript survived. This is when you just retreat. at that point. Rifleman squad's retreating. Look here, looks like they might be trying to save up, because so far they're not buying anything. And usually the Soviets still buy it, you know. Wow, Menge doesn't have anything. He's just relying, okay, that can be very, I mean, like you can see here is focused on guards, so again, he's going to focus on that, but the thing is, though, is guards are nice, they're not as good as an AT gun. The mortar's nice, but again, it's 400, so it's a very expensive mortar. So right now he's using specialized troops, and while that can be effective, I can already see what this guy's trying to do, and I truly think he's not exactly doing the right thing, because while, yes, you don't necessarily need a, I guess any of these extra buildings, I mean, you can rely on just what's in your doctrine. The problem is the fact that when you need, let's say the enemy gets more specialized and starts adapting to your tactic. Let's say they get a Stuka to take out the mortar, let's say, or, you know, the Fallschirmjägers, let's say, or they start blobbing infantry and the mortar can't take them out. And your guards, while they're going against infantry and stuff, maybe they have issue with Ostwind or something. I'm trying to give decent examples, but a counter to that point. The issue that can come up is the fact that since you don't have AT, MG, snipers, or any of these other default abilities, especially if you're not going with armor, you're essentially removing the SU-85, the half-track that can reheal your force at the front lines, all these different, like, units that can come out. So while, yes, it can kind of counter, you're kind of also eliminating yourself to just one basic, I guess one basic force that you can eventually change, but it seems like you're trying to go with the spam T-30-45s. That can be effective, although I think I just did a replay where literally the enemy attacked me with 8 T-30-45s, and that, even though I messed up and didn't place mines where I always say play, especially in like more closed off maps like Lazar Ambush, Lazarus Ambush, Lazar Factory, like those types of maps, Sittard Summer, where it's like there's like these closed trails. You always want to place mines, so that way if vehicles come around for a flank, you can neutralize them. It backfired, so we'll see how that goes for you. In any case, very nice. We have Ronald taking the north, and actually have a good wide range force. I like the MGs, and the MG guarding the MG. I think the SMG should be a little bit more over in case they try to flank this way. But overall, I do like how he's guarding north. And they're taking time to guard the victory points. I know a lot of people who just like, okay, let's go for fuel. But if you can get all the victory points and just hold it, you can win. Now, this is where the guards can do well. Because, again, they're marking, they're not marking, they don't mark the vehicle, they're just buttoning the vehicle. And they're just using it one by one, that way it just runs people all the time. That being said, they're kind of running themselves into a big blob, which, I don't know, let's say this guy fires a couple rifle grenades, like he's doing right now, or he tried, it can be very effective. And that being said, he also clumped up his own units, which means when the flamethrowers and everything starts hitting, unfortunately, for you, Mick, it's just going to start dying. What I would recommend is maybe a guy here, and a guy over here. That way when they come down, there's 3 different locations. That way one grenade can't take them out. Once again, buttoning, we have a Jag Panzer. This is not good against infantry. He's going to want to fall this back. We also have a Briquette Mortar, not exactly the best. Again, one big blob, they're triple T's. What essentially they need is an AA gun, I would recommend. Something like a half-track, or Black Panzer, Ostwind, something like that, where you can just hold the enemy back with suppression. And before you say, what about guards? Well, it's hard for guards to use that ability to suppress targets when they're being suppressed from very far away. And also that kind of blobbing technique can really backfire. We see the American player isn't trying to risk and try to go. Never mind, he is risking it. Wait, do they? Okay, so he has that unlocked. He has the captain and major. Alright. But it looks like he's focusing on the Easy 8. Now, the Easy 8 is a good tank. It's probably the best all-around American tank. The issue with the Easy 8, though, that a lot of people forget, is the fact that it's not a Pershing. I can't stress this enough. It's not some super unit that can go in and kill a King Tiger. 3 of these probably can't kill a King Tiger unless you're very good at it. The King Tiger's wedged itself just right. There's no way these things can puncture the front armor and kill it, especially if supported. Now, if the King Tiger is being stupid, then yes, it could, but just a well-concentrated, like, Panther Force or Tiger, any type, Jagdpanzer Force, can go toe-to-toe with it. Sure, this thing can easily kill Panzer IV, but we go into like more AT units and Panzer Grenadiers or stuff like that, it can't take that many hits, and as you can see here, this Jagdpanzer, one shot, already a third health down. 2/3 health down. And then one more shot will kill it. Now he's fully smoked, but as you can see here, it's so close to dying, it's not even funny. He's trying to keep up, trying to do that last shot. Boom. And I think that's the perfect example where the Jagdpanzer is designed to kill tanks, and if you have an all-around tank, it's not going to be good against this because it's designed to be good against infantry. Actually, it's really good. Well, not as good as the Sherman explosive round. It's supposed to be good against infantry, and it's supposed to be good against tanks. It's not great like the Jackson, it's not great like the basic Sherman against infantry. So that's what you're sacrificing. In any case, MG and all sorts of stuff, shock troops trying to move in, but again, you have enough suppressive fire, even shock troops will not help you. The Allies control the fuel, which can be bad if, well, they don't have a lot of fuel. Looks like I know what Mengele's going for. He's going to go try to spam the T-3045s. He already has nearly double the amount of, well, no, he doesn't. He needs about 60 more, but in 2 minutes he'll probably have it. To get 2 squads of T-3045s. Again, there's a cooldown, so we'll see how that works. And also, it looks like Just Wolf is... Okay, so he at least got the mechanized armored Campagna, and the reason why I say get it is because, again, all you're doing is if you're not unlocking these, the enemy could counter, but you're also limiting yourself to what you can do. The mortar is good, but for artillery, Katyusha is way better. Katyusha is so much better. But since you don't build the headquarters, you don't have that access, so not exactly sure what Mengele's doing. Anyway, let's go see what Shelfei's doing. He has a decent force down here. If anything, I would move this up to about here. I would put, let's say, an MG here. I love this position because in case they try to flank this way, covers that whole point. I would decommission this tank for fuel, mine up this area, maybe a Verkettenwerfer here behind this heavy tank, and maybe one here, another MG here, maybe with a bunker with this guy, and you can lock down this area. Looks like the Allies are now pushing up north, and to be fair, they're at least being smart and flanking. That being said, they also have a Jagdpanzer, and they don't have anything else. This Ronald guy, he has 100 and... Okay, Ronald, you have 100... You nearly have 200 fuel. What are you doing? I would recommend a Jagdpanzer to stay there, maybe fall back because the infantry is being moved, and then I would recommend putting a Panzer headquarters. I would say guarding here. That way, in case they try to come up and try to kill your infantry, it will at least suppress their forces. And finally, what I would recommend is then you can save up. Maybe if you want to just go mechanized, you can get yourself a Stuka, you can get yourself a Puma. Again, it doesn't have the best AT, but with the Jagdpanzer already deployed, you don't need more serious anti-tank. You need a more serious anti-infantry, and a Stuka or a half-track, if supported, can destroy this infantry. I've seen it just absolutely demolish a huge blob coming around the corner, suppress them, and take them out. That's what I would recommend. And especially because I don't know why you're saving all this fuel. Because if you're getting a King Tiger, you need to unlock these 2 other things, which you haven't deployed yet. You need to deploy, which you haven't done yet. And at least... Okay, so he's almost unlocked everything. He's going to unlock it. So I'm guessing that Joffrey's going for a King Tiger. That's debatable what you should do. Oh my god. This guy's way too close. Okay, at least... never mind. He's supported by Sternfire here. Never mind. Panzer IV coming around the flank, trying to kill that. Very smart. Major's up here. That's his Fort HQ. If they can neutralize that, they can be very effective. If instead of attacking this unit, I would actually go over there and try to kill that. Okay, very nice. Because if you kill that ambulance, and you kill the Major, that's huge. Now again, Katyusha fire came down. I think it was a targeted hit. I'm not 100% sure. Yep, this guy's spamming Katyushas. And then Mengele's gonna get the armor. These guys are a little bit more coordinated because again, it's not like you just so happen to go one. You have to like usually decide what you're doing. And the American players need another easy 8. Again, easy 8s are 145 fuel, so that's a risk. And again, Jackson's only 110. So, 125, I'm sorry. So, and Jacksons are way better against things than this thing. As you see, the Jagdpanzer already 1 star, cautious movement, he can hide himself and essentially comes out. Riflemen here, they could probably use AT grenades, and if they have bazooka teams, guards coming in, again, very supportive. I would follow this thing back immediately. Oh, this guy have AT. He does not have AT unlocked, so we cannot throw an AT grenade. We have a KV flamethrower up here. Huh. So it looks like this guy's going basic anti-infantry focus. This guy's going the anti-tank and pretty much the tank force. And this guy's going just all around, if I can best guess what's going on here. Right now, this guy definitely needs more heavier armor. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the elephant because they're not exactly bringing out like a lot of tanks. It's a lot of infantry. What I would recommend for him is bring out a Panzerwerfer, and then a Panther. That's what I would recommend bringing out because the Panzerwerfer, you can counter the blobs, and the Panther, you can counter anything up to an easy 8. Like, you can counter the easy 8, I'm sorry, anything up to a Jackson. Jackson is where it's a little bit harder to fight with the Panther unless you come around and flank it. But, flamethrower unit coming around, Jagdpanzer coming up, that's going to definitely come to the loop. However, the guards will come in. Guards are really effective, and people forget how truly effective guards can be. Oh. That was a decent hit. Now he's just going to guard it, and there's a 45mm gun. The thing is, though, it's not very good. And look, I love the Burkett coming around to the front. That's perfect. But the 45mm gun can do a little bit damage. One more shot will neutralize it. Oh, so close so far. But actually, Red is being pretty supportive. I like the HQ right there to help up. That way he doesn't have to run all the way to his HQ back here. The Vermont player at least helped him out by that. I would start that's taking stuff. What is that? Is that a bar? I think it's a bar. Wow. That's a little bit... Okay, you just got yourself an elephant. That does not mean you're going to win the game. As you can see here, this guy is 2 T-30-45, and we'll get a decent amount of AT, and I love this for Kettenwerfer. It was just being like the saving grace. Killing the KV, almost killing the KV and holding back this guy. You definitely not won yet. There's no way you've won. Now, look here, we can definitely see some Volks fighting shock troops, stuff like that, and while vetted up, you still have to be very cautious about like grenades and flames and moving out of sight. For Kettenwerfer, I would move back, maybe retreat it. Okay, never mind, it's suppressed. Back here, we have an easy 8, and this is where the Jagdpanzer kind of has the same fault as like an SU-85 or Jag Tiger or something like that, where it can't move its gun, so what can easily happen is it moves. If I was him, I would like back up into this thing, so that way he can't hurt it. Now this is stupid, like I said, they don't necessarily need a big, heavy tank, and that's what the elephant is. Also, I would definitely get this other one fire. And again, I love it. It's not penetrating the front armor of it, and it's still trying to do reach, but now it can't get reach against both of them, so it's gonna die. I would retreat this one to a base. You still haven't picked anything. Again, Ronald, I would highly recommend picking, I would actually say a mechanized, that way you can heal your forces. You don't need a Stern Pioneer too. You have a ton of Stern Pioneers and Tau forces. I would try to push and retake this point as you kind of own them. Not sure how they killed your MGs, probably the easy 8. But as you can see here, they're focusing. We have a ton of T-30-45s. This guy's putting all his manpower and fuel into it. He probably saved up a ton for it. And yeah, this is where it's a numbers game where, oh, he can't bring out anymore, so this is all he has. And this is where this is where the big heavy tank does not win, because there's so many T-30-45s that you can't win against it if they flank you, and also they're very explosive guns. Now I like here, your block here, they can't exactly circle you very easily, and they're walking right into the T-nest. And this is where the black painter, really help, and then you can always heal. But they would support a fire, maybe double Oh, the American player. The American player can play. Yeah, you can play it. Yeah, this guy's going to get surrounded, and he's going to go. And then white phosphorus. Now again, you have white phosphorus. Just stop this point from being made and just instantly retreat because it'll make your units so weak that it's not very effective. Now this is also stupid. Do not send in your one Yag Panzer to fight 245 or more. I would move your King Tiger into the help. Also, this elephant, you're not going to have to. Because again, it's so slow and cumbering. It's meant to hold an area. It's not meant to like press an area. And see what I mean? The flak emplacement doing a ton of damage. You actually really damage to it. And King Tiger show up. I love how they are puncturing that armor, going right into the base. King Tiger will finish it off or not. And there you go. A lot of Katyushas, still have a KV. I guess he's gonna try to save. Actually, no, he doesn't have enough resources. Population to bring up an IS-2. And Mengele has 2 barely alive tanks. And that's what I mean. Like, you can rush these enemy territory and they can sometimes win. But then again, sometimes it won't. Like, for example, in this scenario, you don't want to rush an elephant because although they have heavy armor, I literally have been in a game where I just will run next to an elephant with a Panzer check force and just fire next to it. It was like a OKW versus Vermont, but still same thing. Run next to it, fire, hit it. Run next to it, fire, hit it. And with it being bugging and slower and slower 18s that flank it or armor being shown, King Tiger can move on and they'll definitely do a lot of damage, but King Tiger is definitely something you don't mess with. Now this is something you don't get up close to it. Fall back, let your main gun get down. Also fire those vehicles. Down south they don't have that much, so I guess the KV is just gonna run down there. Again, King Tiger is very slow, along with the elephant, so you can't exactly send a King Tiger down the map. That being said, one benefit of the King Tiger is very simple. Amazing front line repairs. Because man, if you think your AT gun can penetrate it, you're sadly mistaken. If you can penetrate it, you're sadly mistaken. You have to get behind it, try to rifle grenade it. This is stupid. Do not charge a King Tiger head on. You will not win. You're definitely not winning. Oh my god, I'm so lucky that retreat took a shot. A lot of troops coming in. I would remove the elephant off backing in. Try to snipe some of those Katyushas if possible. Nice squad wipe. Look down south, we have the KV. Lots of Panzer Strike forces. It's gonna retreat. I wonder if that. Let's see. Sci-fi, where are your Fallschirmjäger squad? Another Yag Panzer. I would send that down south. And then, see, this is what I mean. Like Katyusha. If the elephant was here, it could have sniped that Katyusha. But no, it's up here. So, what I would have recommended is this guy plays elephant here to snipe this point. That way you can neutralize it. They both win Fallschirmjägers. That's also something you don't do. Try to make sure you have a nice wide flank. Okay, and this is my reasoning. If everyone picks the same doctrine, then you have less variables to throw against the enemy, or use against the enemy, and that can make it very easy. For example, if you have the Yag Tiger, my god, can that be a devastating threat? But if every single guy has the Yag Tiger, and it's like, okay, so what can we do? The Yag Tigers go against infantry. They're all going to spam Yag Tigers. I'm sorry, infantry. They're terrible against infantry. They go against tanks. Let's just spam a bunch of infantry with bazookas and guards and all this other stuff, and then use artillery to knock them out. So slow, giant, lumbering beasts. This is my new guy. Oh wow, this is a perfect example. Guard button. Elephant, not really doing all that much. It does a lot of damage, but white phosphorus, blocking the view. Nice shots. They probably got those are probably the team kills, right? Yeah. And that no, we have an IS-2. He probably lost him. He probably sacrificed him and didn't get it. And IS-2, while good, still can't fight temperature head on. although YAG, YAG panzers will kill you down the side. The elephant, if it hits a target, it most likely will not bounce. Now the elephant will probably die very shortly, I guess. Extended view. This is why you fight our vehicles. Okay, you need infantry support. That's the issue. I like your supportive tactics, and you're probably really close with the Tiger. So, and before you say, oh, he has a ton of manpower, why doesn't he increase? Well, the King Tiger is a lot. 26. So he probably doesn't want to get another infantry squad and possibly make it so that the King Tiger can explode. Again, they're right now just using infantry against you. So right now you need more AT forces. You need more infantry forces. And the big lumbering thing is where again the negative stuff. Because while they're good, you just need to surround it and you can kill it. It just has a bunch of HP. And a bunch of smaller things with still pretty powerful guns will kill the one large thing with one gun that can't hit anything around it because it's still twirling around unaware of like, oh my god, what do I shoot first? Especially if you don't have prioritized vehicles, then the elephant will shoot infantry and not the more serious matters of, let's say, the T-3045s. Oh boy, but at least you have YAG panzers. Okay, actually, this is another thing. You guys are going so much in the YAG panzer department, and you're not changing it up, that, again, you still haven't deployed anything, Ronald. And, wow, that's not necessarily... You don't need it? This is what I mean by limiting yourself. Without a Panther, without the necessary resources to get those other vehicles, let's say a flak panzer, like a flak track with an AA gun, or let's say a Sturm Tiger would be awesome because you can kill the blob of infantry. He's literally spamming those guard rifle like there's no tomorrow. In a one massive blob, you knock it out. That's great. All sorts of cool, interesting vehicles. And if you like mix and matching, that can be so deadly than a bunch of T-3045s running amok. Because T-3045s are good, but the reason why he's winning is not because of that. It's with the guard's rifle blob. It's with the I guess Katusha fire for supporting. That is too late. I'm surprised. It's the rifleman support. It's them triple teaming with three or four different like strategies that is that's actually hampering you guys. I love these, just all on the hill. Let's just move in. I do like how you have them at least back. Oh, nice squad wipe. I think that was an enemy. I really hope that was the enemy. Nice panzer firing long range. Here come the guards. And again, these will you need to take this out. You need to get an MG something. The MG is going this way, but you need to turn it to face the giant blob hanging straight for your YAG panzers. That's just me, though. And actually, this is where a Stuka would be great, or a Panzerwerfer, because you could just hit this massive blob. So it looks like Sci-Fi's hanging south. He's trying to retake it. At least the positive thing is you guys have done a pretty good job at least holding key points. The problem is you're just not diversifying your unit set. And so far, Sci-Fi, you've actually been pretty good at tactics. It's just in getting a bunch of stuff. I think it's just your team and their playstyles kind of hampering you guys. Because so far, you've been able to manage to take back the south pretty effectively. But again, they're triple teaming the north. You can see the EZA, pretty much everything. And against a triple team, one player has almost no chance unless they're like. The best person I can think of is Redman, who I've seen literally fight 3 people at once and destroy them. But again, it's not like he's just like, oh, it's 3 against 1. It's like he set up traps, he laid ambushes, he did stuff like that, and that helped him. But in this scenario, you're not really doing that. And also, if you know there's a forward HQ, do not have your infantry retreat there, because they know about it, they're just going to bomb it, incinerate it, call Katusha strikes, all sorts of stuff. And also, you know that last time they came through this way, lay mine, lay a trap, lay something. He's gonna. Yeah. Nice shot, though. He has 3 Jagdpanzers, okay. And they're good against tanks, but you don't need that. What you need is to lay an ambush for them. If they come through here and you know it's a safe journey, what's stopping them from coming back? Yeah, I would have placed mines galore in that location. At least this time you actually have more tanks, so this guy's gonna regret coming back. That being said, he also has an IS-2 coming around the corner, and that thing will almost guarantee puncture your armor. And also you're blobbing one shot. Luckily the house took the hit. Here come the Katusha strikes. And yeah. That yeah. Right now, you guys need to coordinate. If he got the... Oh my god. Okay, this is the other problem you have. This idiot, and I will say idiot, this idiot keeps getting the elephant. And you know what? You don't need an elephant. You have 3 smaller elephants called the Jagdpanzer back over there. And if this guy isn't going to prioritize vehicles, if this guy isn't going to focus sight to hit long range, to maybe snipe some of their long range vehicles, or maybe hit that IS-2 in the back, and also support it with infantry. Yeah, he has infantry right now, but like, if he isn't going to do that, you can easily come around and flank the damn thing, because Steppes is such an open map that unless you have good defense, it's not going to help you. It's not. The only thing I can say is at least this guy isn't spamming rifleman. He has 1,500 manpower. Why isn't this guy spamming rifleman? I don't know. And now guess what? Because you didn't prioritize vehicles, you just gave away that you have an elephant. That's the issue that this guy has. Because again, do not let the enemy know what you have. That's the last thing you want to do. If you give the impression to the enemy that you have nothing, that is the best thing you can do. Because they'll rush into your territory thinking, I'm going to dominate this guy. And then guess what's going to happen? He's going to be like, oh no, I made a terrible mistake and get hit by mines. Get hit by your surprise infantry. Stuka it. King Tiger Rush. Anything. The point of the matter is, you at least blindside. But now he knows, okay, there's an elephant here. And since you don't have any allies supporting you, all he's going to do is just flank. And look, guard with armor, with 30-45, and these guys walking around taking it. Now your allies are losing his advice. And that's pulling him out of his comfort zone, because he's still trying to heal. So you should have probably came over here, and now you're a bit more well supported. At least you killed these gates, although these gates are kind of easy to kill, to be completely honest. You hear an airstrike coming in. That was an awesome Stuka, I'll give him that. I would start picking up these rifles. But now here's the thing, I bet you, he's going to run back and try to go for this HQ, that the guy with the Katusha is going to start firing. That's what I would do. I would do a direct strike on here to kill it, because you know where he's going. Alright, so Sci-Fi has another King Tiger. I would make sure you have infantry supporting. I would mine, again, because you have 230 manpower. You don't need to do this awesome airborne assault. Airborne assault is great, but it's not necessary to win a game, and it's only used in specific situations. Mine here, mine just randomly throughout. That way, if a tank moves in, boom, boom, boom. Unless they have an engineer with Minesweeper, I mean, even that, a tank shot with a tank going over it will still activate the mine. But what I am saying is that if those infantry units, stuff like infantry units or tanks or stuff try to flank you, they will be pinned, and that's where the elephant shines, hitting a vulnerable target long range that can't move. That's the elephant's strength. It's not attacking, it's not trying to use a single man charge, it's sniping and supporting allies. It's not great by itself, not by a long shot. Nice Fallschirmjägers, I think you probably called in this building and came down. Jagdpanzer's moving in, but again, no infantry support. That's the issue. And they're just going to see this as a pretty good opportunity and move up. Look down here. Another blob coming in. And see, here's the thing. Alright, so Ronald, you have a blob. The difference between you having a blob and him and the enemy having a blob is the enemy has enough artillery and specials to call in that they can kill you. And by the way, if a Katyusha's hitting you, you instantly run. If you hear a Katyusha strike and you believe it's coming in, move your units. If you know your units are going to be hit, evac them. Do whatever it takes, but do not keep them in the fight because you will lose. Now let's see, we have 2 IS-2s, and I'm going to call game right now because with 2 IS-2s, 4 T-30-45s, and an Easy 8, since they don't, okay, I'll give them this, at least they got a flak cannon. But you needed, wait, what? T-stall KV-8, that's awesome. A flamethrower tank, that's great. So, overall, the most competent player on the team is Sci-Fi holding the south. The 2 most incompetent players are in the north, and that would be this guy has to be the biggest idiot on their team, because while the elephant's great, that's not what you need in this engagement. Instead of buying an elephant, you could have bought 2 panthers, and 2 panthers, I guarantee you, would going toe-to-toe against all those Easy 8s and those would be more effective. Especially with the Yag Panthers doing supportive fire, so much better. And now he's going to do a blind charge over here. It's like, oh, we really think you can do anything against all this. And you have recon, for Christ's sake. Like, you could have recon that area with a scout car or something. Even if, like, with a spotting scope. And once again, this is where mines come into play. You need mines. At least he's smart enough to realize that they're coming to fall back. So, that's one positive. He has to fall back. Black Panther's trying to hit. There's so many tanks right here. There's no way they're going to hold. I do like that at least. I do think that maybe the King Tiger should be up north. But to be fair, because this is like the 3rd time they've pressed this area. But honestly, it's just... Oh wow, that was I'm sorry, that was a bad shot. But honestly, yeah. Oh my god, this is what I need. It's quality versus quantity. And quantity right now is beating you guys. And why do you have a keep? I mean, I guess it was here to kill me. There's no way. There's no way. At least these, like, again, if you had a good quarters, that could at least do a little bit of damage and help support. But with everything right now, you guys are just going to be flank owned, and there goes pretty much everyone. And there goes pretty much, I would say, all of red is the last guy left. Yep, this guy is nothing. Ronald, you needed more AT, you needed to place mines, you need to, like, dismantle all the random stuff that you never used. Yeah, I can just moving in. This thing is so bad. 3-star. I hate to see that thing die. But now they're just gonna like go through the territory and kill everything. They're most likely gonna come here next and try to counter. Now again, he's getting a panther. This tiger's kind of a sitting duck right now. I'm not sure what hit it. Yeah, but they're gonna cut right through. So Sci-Fi, what's the issue? Your brother did not adapt. He did not take an account, and also you had an idiot for a teammate. I'm actually curious, because what's this guy? 72, 40, and 76. I love this. It's like, and you're saying. That's a little going overboard. Keep the tiger there. Just fall it back. And this is where you should have placed mines. Did he use the airborne assault up north? Is that why he got up there? Except that was nice. Every mark target. What? Oh yeah, mark target. That's again, that'll make a tank easier to kill. And right now again, quantity. Hit, but again, why bother? Panther moves in for a nice flank. Oh my god, the tiger got abandoned. That's bad. Panther came in too late. This is the point where I was especially, okay, they destroyed it, but if they would have taken your King Tiger, that would have been really, really bad. There's no point. They're not only overpacked and with manpower and everything, so no one can kill some of the stuff and then get stuff back. But you guys don't have anything. I love how this guy finally goes to Panther. 45 minutes into the game. His first Panther is 45 minutes into the game. That is... Oh my goodness. See, this is why I recommend... Okay, so if you are a newer player, play public games. That way you can have a better understanding of enemy tactics, stuff like that. Look up YouTube videos, anything. But one of the big no-nos is going into a game, not coordinating with your team, and then thinking that one big heavy unit, like an elephant, is going to win you the game. Like, this is decent because it's there, but, okay, first you see players, move. Okay, at least he moves there. But overall, it's just not, like, they're supporting all their tanks. And that's why they're winning. They are doing a fantastic job at, well, those are physics for the win. But they're supporting each other to the point where it's like they're doing better. Unfortunately, you guys are so divided and just so you don't know what you're doing. And I'm not saying that you guys are bad players. I'm just saying that tactically, they are triple teaming you. They are going in, they did a precision strike with EZ8s, T-3045s, and IS-2s. They all focused there. Compared to you guys, in which you guys had a King Tiger here, a couple Jagdpanzers up there, and you had an Elephant, like, doing whatever over here. It's not really being a team. So, honestly, yeah. I loved all the AT. For Ken Werfers are not that great, though. Honestly, again, I would have mined up the territory behind enemy lines again. And it's like, oh, what about this? If you mined up this area, what's the chance that they're gonna go? You're right, but mine up here, mine up here. That way, when they come back, you have a bunch of tanks can't move, and you could have easily sniped them. Sci-fi, this is not possible. Too many tanks. No, it's not impossible. They're at literal pop cap. Like, hey. They are literally at pop cap. If this guy could... He's probably going to sacrifice his heavy mortar to get more T-3045s. To be completely honest, or sacrifice his guards. It's not too many tanks. It's using your resources wisely. And to be fair, these allied players suck. Like, the guy... This T-3045 guy is terrible. I think I actually versed Mengele. The name's starting to ring a bell. But this guy is terrible in his idea and practice. The only reason you aren't beating him is because of the fact that his one pro use, his one advantage, he's adding that in with everyone else. So all of his cons are being distributed with his allies, and his allies' forces are taking up responsibility for them and covering his weakness. Sure, he may not have artillerists, but his ally does. Sure, he might not have heavy tanks, but his ally does. Sure, he may not have a ton of infantry, but his ally does. So, yeah. I would recommend Nick just go back and do whatever, because I don't... Look how much manpower that this guy has. And especially, like, get AT guns, get MGs, like basic stuff, put down bunkers. Prioritize vehicles was a big thing I saw. And it looks like they're about to, I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit. Normally I don't do this, but essentially it's just gonna be the end game. And the big epic battle already finished. It's pretty much just, oh wait, no, maybe not. Maybe not. Panther does a little bit of damage. But again, a Panther is out of retreat. Like, this guy's just like, I can fight it. Mark target, alone, not supported, completely surrounded. It's his die. He should have backed up, lured it into the base, and that way, Sci-Fi here with his AT guns could have killed him. But no, he decided to do it single-handedly and fight a bunch of tanks, and that ended up killing him. Panthers are good, they will not win you a game by yourself. Nor will a king tiger, nor will an elephant. God, I just want to nuke to hit him right now. A random plane to fall and hit him. That plane. Yeah, and the problem is also, with this combo, the white phosphorus will reduce your health on nothing, and the flamethrower will just kill the units. With a combo of them, it's going to make it very deadly. Now they're just going to rush into the base, it looks like. They're going to try to counter. I would just literally set up, because they're pushing it. And again, the Brigade Worker is a good AP gun, but like I said, it's not the best, and versing IS-2 especially, you're just not going to, it just won't do all that much. Especially because like, this thing is so easy to get in one shot. That's pretty much game. IS-2 slaying the win. Random pet workers killing one IS-2, but then we have the swarm of we have the conga line of T-3485s moving up, which is supporting them. So yeah, it's just going to be slow death. And with all these times, yeah, there's horrible. And they surrender. Alright, so that's game. Let's look at score. Yeah, Sci-Fi was the best player, hands down. Ronald was a close second. I did like his strategy with the Jagdpanzers, with the ambush. I just feel like he wasn't adapting to the T-3045s. Like, the T-3045s came through that area like 3 times. So I would have laid ambushes, AT guns, mines, block it up. Wait, since you have the Luftwaffe ground forces, you have access to tank traps. Block off areas you don't want tanks. Get your guys behind that heavy cover of the tank trap and just fire. Even though, like, again, they could always do white phosphorus or something, it's at least supporting you. And no matter, let's say they burn it, you can't burn a tank trap away. Or the T-3485 could eventually shoot it, but again, it's delaying them. It's luring them into an area you want to take them out. And then that Mick guy, who it's funny, because again, 72, like I said, rank can matter, because if you're versing a level 100, that's a guy that's played enough for COH2 that he probably knows what he's doing. I'm not saying that he's probably not going to make the same mistake as level 50. But that being said, this level 72, as we saw now, kind of sucks. And he thought the big heavy tank was going to win him the game. And while Sci-Fi had a big heavy tank, he was smart enough to get other tanks to support his unit. And he tried to help his allies, but he was focused on his point. I just feel like a little bit more coordination between you guys would have been better. Sci-Fi, I know you were chatting, but I think a little bit more coordination would have been key to your victory, instead of just loss. And these guys, whatever you do, don't be Tony Crow. Do not spam easy 8s. Again, even though they won literally a luck, chance, and the fact that the Axis didn't push them back. Easy 8's good, but you can easily kill it with just more units, better units. Do not go Mengele strategy. That is a terrible strategy, because even though he's spamming T-3045s, simple mines, stuff like that could have easily killed him, and there were points where he had no units. And if it wasn't for the random elephant doing nothing, the elephant literally, if it was like, I mean, he could have gone elephant, but support with Panthers and just guarding here with MG, stuff like that, sniping that Katusha, would have been so helpful. And then Just Wolf, I actually thought was the most competent player on their team, because he was at least able to do a smart thing with, like, okay, Katushas, knock it out, let's save up for an IS-2. Oh, you know what? I have a KV, that way to help burn infantry. He saw what his allies were doing and he tried to help, so I at least give him that. Overall, this was a good game. I just feel like a lot of wasted potential with, I guess, what Mick did. But in any case, I want to thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have a replay that you want to send in like Sci-Fi did, please do so. I may not do a lot of replays in which there are losses or stuff, but this I felt there was enough here to demonstrate that simple, like, ideas in COH2 that are really prevalent, like heavy tanks or a lot of tanks that people think, oh, that's how you win. That I want to show here that some case yes, some case no. It just depends on your teammate coordination, stuff like that. That really helps win the day. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed again, and I'll see you guys next time.